Hey, everybody. Oh, hey.
You should introduce yourself
I
on
am.
here.
I was just getting your audio running on my end because it was not
Oh,
going,
okay.
and I got it going now, so
Oh,
we're
no.
good. Hi, everybody. I'm Alina Pete. I make comics at weargeek.com and have all of my art up at alinapete.com.
Uh,
We are going to draw some stuff tonight.
yeah. What are you gonna draw?
I have no idea yet. I have a shirt design for a furry con that I need to get into at some point, but I think I need a warm up drawing first. So I think I'm gonna.
I am gonna do some promo art.
Cool.
So last year, Amanda had up on her Twitter rather than a pinned tweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it to you. It was because in theory the Twitter algorithm works better with pictures.
Mm,
So she made this little promo image to be her pinned tweet. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen
cool.
so people watching can see.
I'm gonna do the
Um,
thing that I do on
and
my. Let me tell you about my characters, where I draw a little goofy picture of us while we're still kibitzing and trying to figure out what we're drawing.
so I was gonna do one of those with my little wolf mascot,
Sweet.
uh, and because I need an agent because I fired mine uh,
Ah.
in like a couple of months ago. I've been looking for a new one. Uh,
I'm drawing you just as like the grumpiest
he
wolf. You're a very grumpy wolf in my drawing.
a tired wolf,
Here,
tired
I'm
wolf,
giving you some
rather
under
than grumpy.
some under eye bags.
Yeah, that's what my wolf mascot has. The
Good.
little
Good.
underbags.
We're just like, just weary. Just a very weary wolf.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired all the time. Um,
And I'm gonna give you your trademark necktie because I love it.
the piano key one or
Just
the
a
new
necktie.
one?
I'm not going for a lot of detail here. Your ears are
Okay,
all
yeah, because I was
flat.
gonna
You're
say I
like,
don't wear the piano. I don't wear the piano key one anymore because
you
I
got
don't.
that cool
Sorcery
wolf
101
one.
doesn't exist. Yeah, well, because I've got the piano key one because it matches Danny's tie in Sorcery 101.
Right.
But I
Good.
don't do Sorcery 101 anymore, so I just I need a new tie. Werewolves are forever.
I
So,
almost don't do Wear Geek anymore. I've got one chapter left, and I was not able to get it done before Christmas because I had a huge contract, and then also my eye surgery, which went very well. But
how are your robo eyes?
my robo eyes are freaking amazing. So they didn't promise me this before surgery because it doesn't necessarily always work, but they got me better than 2020 vision. So I have 2020 plus 2. I
Ooh.
have plus 2 vision with my new vision mods.
Uh,
So that basically means that like I can see everything. It's amazing. And for those of you who don't know, I had
uh,
like minus 18 vision before, so I could see nothing. Literally not. Like I couldn't see my hand in front
I
of my
I don't
face.
know what that. Yeah, I'm also blind. I don't know how blind I am, but I'm very blind. I basically my glasses are bottle end glasses.
Yep.
Um, but for astigmatism.
Oh,
And it's a stigmatism that is pronounced enough that one of my professors in art school, with students' permission, would try on their glasses to see how blind they are.
yep.
Um, and he didn't even get my glasses on his face.
Yep. Before he went, whoa,
He got them
no.
like 4 inches away, and he pulled them away, and then he was like, "You have astigmatism."
Yup. Yup, yup, yup. I have tried that game with some friends of mine who have like put my glasses up to their face and then been like, "Whoa, I cannot actually put these on." And I'm like, "Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I'm super blind, but I'm not anymore. I'm super not anymore. I still look for my glasses every time I wake up, and then I'm like, no, I can just see. It's fine. I can just see things. That's weird."
I actually don't like wearing glasses.
Mm,
My my eyelashes are really long.
Oh,
So my glasses get tremendously dirty super quick.
gotcha. There, I finished our little goofy doodle.
I am actually not looking at your stream,
I
so I'm
should.
gonna have to click over to that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at yours as well. I should actually draw a thing now. What am I going to draw today? I know, I'm gonna draw a D&D character idea I had. They're a feral little person with very strong um, owl house vibes.
Cool. The secret to my wolf mascot is I used Animal Crossing models as a base.
Oh, good.
That's the secret to
Excuse me.
getting my wolf guy to look correct. Can you put your drawing on screen so I can see it again? I just pulled up your stream.
Oh, do I not have it on screen? Oh yeah, yeah. Here we go.
Oh.
It's us. You look very tired.
A delay, so I'll give it a minute.
I just look confused, which is accurate.
There we go. Good.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna update my overlay so that you can see where to find Kel's stream. Why did I not update that? Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna throw it in the chat then.
I just put your name and pronouns. I didn't put any
okay,
word
sweet.
people.
Sweet. I think for next time I will have like a so I'm playing around with VOD Ninja. And VOD Ninja is really cool because it allows you to have stuff set up and not have to set it up in OBS every time. But I'm also thinking it would allow us both to share our screens so we can have a preview of what we're drawing in the other stream up for people to see.
Mine might not work. Like, I've had bad luck with my connection and doing things like that.
Gotcha.
Streaming and sharing a screen.
Not great.
Yeah. At least on my computer and internet connection at the moment.
Gotcha. I am super lucky, and I had a friend who last Christmas, or even before last Christmas, was like, "So, Alina, the crypto market's heating up. You wanted to get into streaming. You better buy a really good graphics card, like, immediately." And I was like, "Cool.
Do you have a PC or a Mac?
PC.
I'm a Mac person, so I have limited options when it comes to
gotcha.
upgrading my things.
Gotcha. Whereas I have a box just of ridiculousness. I'm looking down at my CPU, and there's so many LEDs, Kel. I went a little nuts with the LEDs. I haven't yet gotten my custom-made GPU backplate, but I have everything else, including the rainbow fans. It's ridiculous.
Now, the one thing I need to really upgrade is my Cintiq. I think it's on its last legs.
Gotcha.
I bought my Cintiq in 2011, I think. And now it flickers at certain angles, so
gotcha.
I feel like it's near its end.
I have a old but relatively unused Wacom, which was the backup machine at an animation company that went under. So it's had almost no hours. I mean, now it's got a lot of hours because I've been using it for a while. But that same friend who gave me the hot tip about buying a good video card a couple years ago was also like, hey, I'm watching the auctions, and there's this animation studio that's going under. Do you want me to buy you a Cintiq? And I'm like, sure. And then he called and he was like, so I couldn't get you a Cintiq, but I did get a tablet for real cheap. And I'm like, well, how's cheap? And he's like, well, $800. And I was like, woof, that's a little pricey, but it's not like, I can cover that right now.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like a little tiny laptop kind of one, like just a small Wacom, and I was like, well, okay. I don't know if I wanted to pay that much for it, but sure. I've already bought it.
Yeah.
Went and picked it up, and then I was like, so, this is my lot number, go get me the thing. And they were like, oh, we're going to go get the dolly for that one. Go get the big one. And I was like, how
Because it was a giant
big
one,
is
not
it?
the tiny one
Yeah.
that you thought you were getting.
It's like 2 feet wide. It's very large.
That's like the size of my Cintiq.
Nice. It's one of the plus sides of living in Vancouver is there's a million animation and video game companies, and they come and go because Vancouver's really expensive.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Matrix yet?
No. Have you? Is it any good?
It's better than the other sequels,
Mm.
but not as good as the first.
Well, yeah, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I would describe it as unfocused, but still fun.
Okay.
Because basically the whole movie is Lana Wachowski
Yep.
telling all the alt-right guys they're wrong.
Good.
And they like the Matrix wrong.
Good.
And they suck.
I mean, I'm kind of here just for that. I'd see it just for that.
Yeah, it's just very like unfocused. Like she has a lot of thoughts, and they don't necessarily all connect together into a story.
Gotcha. Is it fun?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I had fun because of the
really
fuck you to the alt-right guys.
good. I mean, that is why I went and saw the Ghostbusters movie. I was like, I've never been like I watched Ghostbusters, but I'm not like a dyed-in-the-wool Ghostbusters fan. But I was like, I want to see this just to say screw you to all them folks who are mad about this.
Yeah. I wish I liked that movie. I also saw it,
Yep. Same
but
here.
I didn't really like it.
No, same. And the thing was, they did almost everything in their power to undermine the comedy that they were setting up. So they'd like cut away from slapstick moments, and then the whole they didn't have Chris Hemsworth's funny dance scene in the movie. It was in the credits. I was like, that's the climax of this funny movie. Why did you cut away from it?
What? Well, it's also like I feel like so. While technically, the original Ghostbusters is an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
It's really the Bill Murray show.
No, for sure, undeniably.
And everyone else is just there.
Yes.
And because it's the Bill Murray show, they can focus their comedy in story on Bill Murray's nonsense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. And
this one didn't really have a
Yeah, and so while I appreciate that they tried to give each girl their moment,
Yep.
I feel like they went too much into the backstory of the bad guy. Like I don't care about him.
No.
I just want there to be ghosts because it's the anniversary of such and such.
Yeah, there was also a moment where I was like, wow, okay, this clearly got edited after they'd done pickups. And it doesn't make sense now. They should have done more pickups to fix this reveal.
I'm going to put little moons. Amanda did little stars. I'm going to put little moons because that's more on brand.
That's your brand.
For me.
That's your brand.
My brand.
My brand is D&D, so I'm drawing a D&D character.
The little moons don't look that good. I ended up getting HBO Max so I could watch The Matrix like the day it came out.
Oh, cool. Have you seen
Um,
Encanto? That was what I was going to watch over the holidays, and I did not get a chance to.
I don't want to go to the theater
Yeah,
right
it's out on
now.
Disney Plus now. I
Um,
don't blame you. It's real
and
bad out there.
I don't have Disney Plus
Gotcha.
because I'm fighting that urge
I mean, it's true.
as long as
I
possible.
I was weak, and I needed to watch all of the Gargoyles again frequently.
See, I own Gargoyles on DVD,
Well, there you go.
so
See, you're smart.
and on iTunes. So
So you're smart. Have you seen the Gargoyles
I,
toys that they're coming out with? I don't remember the name of the company, but it does like premium toys.
I believe Corey linked me to
Oh my
them.
god, they're so good. They just released the Bronx one, and he's the goodest boy, and he's very cute.
Yeah.
I do want, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Broadway, or not Broadway. Brooklyn. I need to see my Brooklyn. I need to see my boy, who I think is also Corey's boy, and she'll probably also lose her mind.
That's everybody's boy.
He's just the good. He's great.
Listen, you're either into Brooklyn or you're like me and you're into Xanatos. Because
Fair,
I have a problem.
fair. Like them bad boys.
Well, it's more like when Xanatos proposed to Fox,
Yep.
I was like, that's hashtag goals. Um,
Yes.
and I'm like, that's super unromantic,
Yep.
but
But it does make sense.
in my aromantic brain, I was
Yep.
like, well, that all checks out.
That does make sense. That is a profitable relationship for everybody.
Also, his wife's a werewolf, and that
That's
shows
just
good
great.
taste on his part.
That's just great. Do propose to the werewolf
Yeah.
whenever you get a chance. See, it took me a very long time to figure out that I was bi, but I did love all of the girls on most of the shows, and then also Brooklyn, and I couldn't figure that one out. Oh, and Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is also very good.
See, I liked Gambit.
Mm. A lot of
Because
my friends were
again,
into
I have
Gambit.
a problem. What's funny is I know James Almost, who wrote a Gambit miniseries, and when I met him, I mentioned Gambit was my favorite.
Yep.
And he like was like, okay, fun story. When he was apparently like in a community theater group when he got the job to write the Gambit miniseries.
Oh, really?
Um, and he mentioned that he was going to write a Gambit miniseries. And all the ladies in his theater group were like, "Oh, Gambit," and he's like, "I didn't know that this was a thing."
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh, it's a
So he then
thing.
immediate and so he didn't know that until like all the ladies in his theater group were like had that reaction. And
Oh,
then he
Gambit.
immediately emailed the artist and was like, "So we need him to be shirtless as much as possible."
And just real sexy and chiseled.
Yeah, and like a shower scene, we
Yup.
got to get that in there.
That's has to happen. Ladies hot for ladies and non-binary folks hot for Gambit. I like some of that Creole twang. I think I got this. I think I got the pose now.
I need to think of goofy wants like Amanda. Because Amanda also put on her wants a giant wife and eel nigiri.
Oh, good, good.
Um,
I would also take a giant wife.
uh, let's see.
Although for me, I think my nigiri of choice is I can't remember the word for it right now, but the mackerel. I love mackerel.
I really like shrimp tempura sushi.
Mm.
Those are really good. Oh, on New Year's, I watched movies with a friend, and we ordered sushi from a place I hadn't been before. That's like right next to her apartment. And they had a lobster roll nigiri,
Oh,
like
nice.
a lobster roll sushi called the lobster bomb. Um, and I was like, okay, I'll take that. And I was expecting it to be like the size of a rainbow roll.
Yep.
But apparently, what this place does is they have the tempura lobster and they put it in the sushi, and then what's left over is they just dump it in your meal.
Whoa.
So I get there and ordered other meals as well,
Oh,
like
no.
a couple, like two other rolls, and I just get there and it's like a pile of lobster, and I'm like, well, this is great, but it's
Yep.
also too much food.
I've ordered entirely too much, which is not a
Yeah.
problem, but also not what I was expecting.
We watched The Meg, which is about Jason Statham fighting a giant shark.
Oh, good, good, good.
And that's how we spent
As in a
our New
megalodon.
Year's. Yes,
Cool.
that's exactly what he's fighting.
Good, good, good. I spent my New
Um,
Year's in literally the shittiest motel in Kamloops. It didn't have
oh
hot
no,
water. It didn't even have hot water.
no,
It was bad.
no.
But we were trying
That's
to thread the needle between two winter storms.
oh,
And so we're like, well, we have to drive at least as far as Kamloops. Let's get there and we'll just take whatever hotel is nearest off of the road. And it's bad. Don't go there. It was so bad I left a review.
oof.
Because I'm like,
Oof,
I don't
oof,
expect a lot from motels, but this even exceeded my low expectations.
A YouTuber that I watch, Maggie Mayfish,
Yep.
her newest video is about a very bad reality show
Oh, good.
on Netflix
Oh, good.
called Motel Makeover.
Oh, no, good.
And it's two girl bosses girl bossing it up.
Hashtag girl
And
boss.
by girl boss they mean that they have money to bail them out of their mistakes.
Right.
So they're doing all their girl bossness.
So by girl boss, you just mean privilege.
Yes. So they're
Good.
girl bossing it up while remodeling, in quotes, these motels. And by
Okay.
remodel, it means paint everything white.
Oh no, I hate that. They're gonna white girl it.
Uh,
They're gonna make these into the whitest white girl hotels.
And so
Everything is
just
beige.
watching them ruin these like beautiful wood panelings or
Oh
like
no.
rock facade on the side of these
Oh
houses.
no, I hate it. I hate it.
And then the pandemic happens,
Yep.
which doesn't affect them because they're rich enough that there are no consequences for any of their actions.
Yup.
What
Sounds
it
about
does
right.
do is make their contractor infuriated with them
God.
because they're like, oh, well, we need to open by this date.
Oh no. And he's like,
They're like, so we need you to build a deck for this motel.
what?
And he's like, well, there's a lumber shortage.
Yes.
And he's like, so we can't get you like the material,
Lumber.
This is impossible, and we can't get this to you.
Yeah, it's
And they're
not
like,
going
what
to
do you
happen.
mean there's a lumber shortage? And
Oh,
he's like, I
God.
mean there is no wood. Like,
Yes. It's the same reason we can't get books printed, because pulp.
yeah.
Pulp's not a thing that happens anymore, because we need wood. We need that lumber.
put as my joke want bacon cheeseburgers. That doesn't fit. I'm just gonna put bacon.
Nice.
I don't have bacon in my house because I have a problem.
You will go feral and eat all of it.
When I was a child, so my family, the mom's side of my family does like an Easter brunch every year. And one time a different aunt was hosting because I forget the reason, and was wondering how much bacon to order, and was told, well, you'll need about 3 pounds for Kelly and 3 pounds for everyone else.
Right. Yeah. Accurately.
Yeah. Yes.
I used to be the bacon monster. My grandma would call me the bacon monster because I would sneak up to the table and steal unguarded bacon.
Yeah.
So, I feel ya.
I don't know how to spell nigiri.
Nigiri.
It's on Amanda's thing, so I'm just copying Amanda's.
Sweet.
This a little smaller.
Okay, I'm gonna move this whole arm. This whole arm is not where it needs to be. Very strong Tarzan vibes on this character. They are supposed to be a feral child who was raised by a dragon in the woods.
It's good.
Yeah.
I support them. How have you been entertaining yourself all pandemic?
Oh god, a lot of different ways.
My favorite thing I've learned, well, some people peruse the internet for fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I've found what I really need and desire. I want to hear everyone's dumb fan theories.
Oh, good. Oh, I like that.
Especially Game of Thrones.
Oh god.
Because those people have marinated in obsessively reading every word for 10 years and have
only to have zero payoff.
New content. Yeah.
Oh
so
no. Oh no.
Shit got real weird. And it's super entertaining, and every single one is Charlie Day with his Pepe Sevilla wall.
Oh boy. Oh good. Oh boy.
There's a guy who makes YouTube videos explaining his theories.
Oh no.
The newest one is all about how Bran is a time traveler that has set the whole story into motion.
And not just a child who was pushed off of a building.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Good. I have literally zero fan theories about Game of Thrones because I do not care. So here's my Game of Thrones story. Before the TV series came out, I was like, I do like reading books first, so that I can get an idea in my head of what the characters look like before the TV show comes along and alters them. Because I like seeing whether I like my version of a character better than the actor who was cast. So I went and I downloaded the audiobook because I was going to listen to it while I was jogging. And I barely got through the first chapter. It was very dry and very boring.
The audiobook is awful.
It's awful.
Yeah,
it was so bad. And I just I hate this.
I'm
wasting my time.
The audiobook. I only got through through the books because the place I was browsing for fan theories linked an amateur audiobook that was made on YouTube.
Oh, good.
It's I forget the guy's name, but literally his YouTube is blank reads Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Or
good, good, good.
blank reads A Song of Ice and Fire.
I like a lot of those because some of them are really really put a lot more time and energy into their voice acting than a professional audiobook, unfortunately, does sometimes.
And the
Not some
thing,
of the well produced ones, but like some of the just like I guess we need
yeah.
an audiobook for this, and they're awful.
Part of me hopes that the next Game of Thrones comes out, the next Song of Ice and Fire comes out, not because I'm super invested in it ending or think it will successfully end. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he'll finish it.
No.
But they started to get the guy who played Viserys from the TV
Oh yeah.
show to read all the side story audiobooks.
Oh, he's got a
And
good voice.
since the old audiobook reader is dead,
Yep.
that's how long it's been since there's been a new book.
Yoicks.
And people get obsessive about like continuity in audiobooks.
Yes.
I feel like they might pay him to just reread the whole series.
That'd be cool.
But man, the theories about A Song of Ice and Fire include it's all aliens.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Tyrion is a time traveling fetus.
Good.
My favorite one is Ned is a pigeon.
Oh, I like that already. I'm into anything with weird birds.
That one is actually pretty quick to explain. Since all the Stark kids can like mind project into animals,
Right.
that means on some level it's genetic. So maybe they got it from their dad, and so
it's not their mom because she's a fish.
So then they're like, so maybe his dad has latent warging powers, and when he's beheaded, those pigeons fly by. So maybe he jumped into one of the pigeons,
and now he's just a pigeon watching everything, in a very Dragon Prince sort of way.
No. This is because it's Game of Thrones. It's got to have a dark twist.
Yeah, of
right
course.
After Ned's beheaded, Arya catches a pigeon for food.
Oh, good. So she eats her dad.
Yes.
Good. Yep.
Checks out.
I like it. Headcanon about pigeons accepted.
Yeah. And my other favorite one is Everyone Killed Joffrey.
Yes.
Which is because there's all these different theories about how different people killed Joffrey for different reasons.
And they were all trying to kill him, and they all succeeded.
Yeah. So this theory is that all of them are simultaneously true. So everyone killed Joffrey.
Good. I like that. That's very satisfying to me. Did I tell you? So there's been this building and development down the street for a while. And I'm sure they thought they were being very, very clever, but now I think they're going to like regret it. It is called the King's Landing. Condo development. So that's going to be fun.
Yep.
Good marketing.
Yeah. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Other dumb fan theories that I really like. This one isn't dumb. I actually really like it, and I'm like, in my heart, this one's true now. There's one about Labyrinth.
Ooh.
Which is about why the main girl's name is Sarah.
Yeah.
And basically, this whole theory is based on like one line of dialogue. Well, actually, it's one line of dialogue, and then the fact that the story of the Goblin King that tells you what will happen in the movie exists for some reason in universe.
Yes.
So basically, the line of dialogue is when one of the creatures asks Sarah her name, she says her name, and they go, "Of course it is."
Right.
Like really dismissively.
Right.
And this person is like, "Well, Sarah is one of the oldest names that is still used today. It is like from the Bible and blah 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 blah." And like they go in the history of the name Sarah.
Interesting.
And they're like, "So um they say they're positing that also the Goblin King is David Bowie, but none of the other goblins look like a human,
Yes.
and also all the goblins are not adult height.
Yes.
So the theory is Goblin King was a regular guy and was in love with a girl named Sarah who could not marry him because she had to take care of a stepbrother because they could not afford like help.
Right. Right. Right.
So to marry her, he had to basically pay a dowry he couldn't afford.
Right.
So to better himself, he goes into fairyland and learns magic. And
A real Howl sort of situation.
He comes back, and unfortunately, time moves differently in
Oh,
fairyland.
good. Right. Yes.
So his Sarah is already old and or dead.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And that breaks him mentally. So he latches on to another girl named Sarah who is taking care of a younger brother.
I like this. I accept it.
And
Do you know no, it's not even a fan theory.
It's well, yeah. So he keeps going, and basically he kept doing this over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And all the goblins are
like,
actually the little
oh.
brothers that weren't saved.
Gotcha. And they're like, of course your name is Sarah. It had to be Sarah because you're
They're
never one
all
of them.
named Sarah.
Yeah, they're all named Sarah.
They're all named Sarah.
Why do we even ask anymore? So do you know the it's not even a fan theory. It's literally true. All of the objects in her room in the real world are all the characters from that you see in the show. And David Bowie is on her mirror when she's like taking a look at herself. And there's a news article about how this famous actor ran away with her mother. Her mother was a famous dancer who ran away with an actor and left her baby daughter behind. And in the photo, I don't remember if they aged her up or got somebody who looks a lot like her to be the mom, but the guy she ran away with is just David Bowie. And I'm like, okay, so she sees him as the Goblin King because he's already stolen a member of her family, her mom, and now it's her brother that he's after. But yeah, that's a thing that they talked about, like in the set department and planned for.
I do like they're all named Sarah theory though.
I do like that too.
Promo images are hard.
Yup.
But yeah, I fell down a rabbit hole of weird Game of Thrones ice and fire theories. And they're so dumb.
Good.
And it's a lot of like extrapolating from one line, but also like, well, he wrote this in a different series, so that means he's doing this in Ice and Fire.
Right, right. Unhinged fan theories.
I love them. They're great.
I don't know if I have any fan theories about anything.
I don't come up with them on my own. I just like to read other people's.
Yeah.
Um, there's a part of me that like I never really got into fan fiction like writing it
Mm.
because I'm like, why don't you just make your own thing?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, because like at a certain point, it's like, why don't you just do your own thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because like someone pointed out that there's a guy who wrote all this world building stuff for A Song of Ice and Fire, and it's for like the far eastern countries in the world who like we don't have any information about,
Right.
and the info we do have is all like steeped in myth and legend, and so like this guy like went through and cataloged them all, and like um it's like, okay, you're making so much up. At a certain point it's like, why not just tell your own story?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people will make stuff up like that and then repurpose it for something else.
Yeah.
So, like, I can see him coming up with, like, a role playing setting based on all that and just, like, removing all of the Game of Thronesiness from it.
Yeah.
Do you. Okay, stuff can go the other way, though. Do you know where a lot of the, like, deep, deep lore from Star Wars comes from?
um
Like, obviously, it's developed on
Current lore
forums and
or
stuff.
old school
Like,
lore?
old
Yeah,
school.
okay.
Like, a lot of the names for the alien races and even some of the descriptions of the planets.
Well, I know that the Star Wars alphabet is repurposed Hebrew alphabet.
Yes.
Um
Yep.
which
But,
I had a very funny conversation with Steve Lieber and
oh, I bet.
Becky, I forget her, Becky Hawkins, about that.
Right, right.
Uh
Is it
they were
repurposed enough
trying
that
to
they
read
can,
this.
like, just read it? If you know
Okay,
Hebrew, you
well,
can
no.
just, like.
So this is the thing: is it was in at Stormcrow.
Oh, yes. Which,
Um,
RIP,
there was
they just announced today that they are shutting down after
okay.
struggling to stay
So
open.
what it was is they were waiting. We were the three of us were waiting outside of Stormcrow,
Yep.
and they were trying to figure out. They're like, "Well, we're trying to figure out what this plaque says," and I look over, and it's this lightsaber on a plaque. Um, and I'm like, it's Star Wars language, so it probably just says "May the Force be with you," or
Yep.
something like that. And so basically, he took all the Hebrew letters, but they're not like in the correct order.
Oh,
So
cool.
they're writing gibberish.
Nice, good.
Like, so that's why like Steve and Becky were trying to read it, but like couldn't figure out what it was trying to say.
They're the like, Japanese tattoo that doesn't actually read anything, but looks cool.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Good, good, good.
exactly.
No,
Uh,
so back in the day, there was a role playing game that was licensed, and they were going to make a Star Wars role playing game. I don't think it was West End Games. Maybe it was, but it was all this one game designer for this role playing game who was handed the task and, like, here's all the random crap from the movie filmings and stuff. Make it make sense and then make a whole world out of it. And so he went and, like, read some of that and then also watched the movie a bunch of times and went, okay, well, this planet is kind of mentioned here, but there's a shot of it, we don't have a name for it, so I'm going to name it, and come up with this world book for Star Wars.
mhm.
And so he published that as the role-playing game, and then later when the novels were being written and also more Star Wars was sort of being worked on, they just pulled from that as like, well, this is already something that we have the license to. It was licensed from us, so it sort of belongs to us. Let's just full on crib this guy's setting stuff because it's
Yeah.
great.
I mean,
It's super detailed. He
why
put a
not?
lot of work into
Like,
it.
they paid him to do that, so
Exactly.
might as well
Let's
use it.
make use of it. And it's really good. It's really well written. So yeah, Star Wars comes from role-playing games.
I read this good book called Iron Widow.
Mm.
Which is so like how Game of Thrones is based off the War of Roses.
Yeah.
Iron Widow is based off the rise of China's only empress.
Oh, cool.
And it's a sci-fi world where there's super hardcore gender roles because a lot of that empress's rise to power is her bucking gender roles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a world where like they're fighting big alien monsters with mechs. And much like Pacific Rim, they need 2 pilots.
Oh, good. I do love drift compatibility. That's very good.
Well, so here's the thing. It's not drift compatibility. It's they need a man and a woman to do it.
Right, because you got to have some yin and some yang.
Roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
To defeat this thing, you need both yin and yang.
But if one side is too psychically powerful, they can overpower the psyche of the other pilot and kill them.
Gotcha.
So the book starts with main character is signing up to be a female pilot because her sister was a female pilot who was killed by this specific pilot. But not during a co-pilot session. Like he murdered her.
Just straight up. Just some murder.
Just straight up. And so since the male pilots are like heroes and celebrities, it was covered up and kind of only her family knows.
Right.
And like if her sister had died during battle, then like her family would have been set for life.
Yeah. But she was not on the battlefield.
Yeah, so it was just hushed up.
Right.
So she's specifically becoming a pilot to get revenge.
Good, to go and murder this dude.
The guy that killed her sister. So like this isn't real. This is kind of a spoiler, but not really because it happens in like the 2nd chapter.
Right.
Her psyche overpowers his during a battle.
Oh, good.
And she kills him.
Satisfying, yes.
And because of that, they're like, she finds out that since the society values men more than women, they've been intentionally pairing girls with
strong men.
Strong, like they specifically pair them with like men that will overpower them.
Right.
So she then gets assigned to the most powerful male pilot.
Yep.
Who is a multi-murderer.
Oh,
who
good.
Was in prison on death row. And the only reason why he is not being executed is because he is the most powerful pilot and is the only one that can pilot the most superpowered mech.
Gotcha.
But every girl that he pilots with immediately dies.
Right.
Like
super dead right away.
So because the other guys, like sometimes a lady will last 1 or 2 fights.
Right.
Before they get killed. And the way to unlock the mech's like most powerful form is if the couple's in harmony.
Of course, yeah.
So they're like, okay, so either this mass murderer will kill her, and then we don't have to deal with a powerful lady
Yep.
anymore, or
Either way, we're winning here. We're looking pretty good.
or we're getting rid of a criminal. So
Yeah.
we win either way.
Yep.
That's basically their plan.
Gender roles upheld.
Yeah. And so it's a really good book.
That sounds really good.
And it's it also has
it's not an Alette de
polyamory
Bodard.
rep.
It sounds kind of like something she would write.
Oddly enough, it's by a YouTuber I watch.
Oh, really?
Who is a lady that does she talks about like the influence from Chinese culture and different like Western media.
Cool.
So like she got her start and went viral because she started with Avatar: Last Airbender.
Oh yeah, good.
So basically how did I do the okay. So she like went through like each season of Avatar, and also reviewed the new Mulan.
Oh yeah. The live action one or the
yeah. And then she reviewed the old animated one. Then she went over like
got some
Kung
problems.
Fu Panda.
Yeah.
And how Kung Fu Panda is like really well done from like Chinese cultural standpoint, according to her.
Huh. Cool.
And then she did like the new Marvel movie.
Oh, Shang-Chi?
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I checked it out because she wrote it.
Cool.
I was advertising it on her channel, and I was like, sounds like a thing that I want to read up on.
That sounds really good. I often wonder about that
There is no
because I know.
non-binary rep.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no non-binary rep in it, but like they acknowledge that like gender is not as binary as people assume or are told.
Right.
So it's like an acknowledged. It's more just she has not encountered it, and maybe this patriarchal society is not leaving room for that. Because like basically it's like the start of it, she's hanging out with her boyfriend before she signs up to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And they see a butterfly where the
one half is male.
One half is male and one half is female.
Something Gaiandromorph.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
And so it's kind of an acknowledgement from the get-go that.
Nice. Man, if you want some serious non-binary representation in a really cool Asian sci-fi setting, Into the Vanisher's Palace by Alette de Bodard. So good. It's basically like, what if Beauty and the Beast was a lesbian tale set in sci-fi Vietnam? And also, the Beast is a dragon, and she's great. And very powerful, and also really understands consent. And, like, enforced consent, or not enforced consent, but, like, the power dynamics of, like, hey, so you're kind of my prisoner, so I really shouldn't. But when you're not my prisoner, then we're on equal ground.
Then we can hook up, yeah.
Exactly. Super good. I've read that book, like, I kid you not, like 10 times. It's really, really good. But Kind of spoiler, but not really. The dragon's two children are one of them is a boy and one of them is non-binary, and it's just really cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
In general, I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah.
And in fact, I am someone that if you tell me a spoiler, I'm probably now more likely to go read it slash like
Good.
pick it up.
Good, good. I am pretty good at spoilers because I will forget. I can like purposely try to remember something or purposely try to forget it. And if I purposely try to forget it, I'm usually pretty good at that. So.
Have you seen Sorry to Bother You?
No.
Okay, that's a movie where I saw the trailers and I was like, well, this looks like it could be funny. I'll get around to watching it. And then someone told me the big twist at the end of the movie, and I'm like, well, now I have to see it. The plot of Sorry to Bother You is capitalism sucks.
Oh, good.
The main guy is a black guy who works at a call center.
Yep. Hence Sorry to Bother You.
And he finds out that he does better at the call center if he uses his white person voice. And his white person voice is literally David Cross dubbed over him talking.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I like that a lot.
So he is working, and then the background, there is a tech billionaire trying to advertise his new thing, Worry Free. Sign up for Worry Free. Your food and housing will be covered.
Oh,
in
good.
exchange for your labor.
Indentured slavery. Good,
at
good,
my
good.
delivery service. Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Basically.
Yep. It's the corporation town. It's real bad. It's something that Silicon Valley bros have been trying to reinvent. Also sharecropping.
So, so he does really well, and he like climbs up the rank of this corporation because of how good he is at selling things when he uses his white guy voice. Then he learns about the tech billionaire's big plan. He is going to mutate his worry-free, quote-unquote, customers.
Yep.
Because he owns their life, so they can't say no.
Yep.
And make them part horse.
Oh, good.
So that way they're stronger and can lift heavier boxes. And also, because they're domesticated horses, they won't, like, be as independent.
Good.
And talk back as much.
Yep. And probably can't go into, like, mainstream society because they're half horse.
And he wants the main character to become half horse and take over as the leader.
The leader of the horsemen.
To prevent them from organizing. He wants him to basically
union bust these horse dudes.
Yeah.
Good.
So, like, that's the big twist, that there's mutant horse people in the basement. Like,
I'm into it. Yep. Good.
It's a very good movie.
That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah. And I knew it was a comedy about how capitalism sucks before learning that spoiler, but after learning it, I was like, well, now I have to see it.
That's satisfying.
And I've gotten into a few arguments with Spike where she's explaining a movie to me, but it's doing it in such an obtuse way. And she's like,
just tell me.
Oh, no, is it? And I'm like, tell me. And she's like, no, that will ruin it. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to look it up at Wikipedia and I'm going to find out way more than the answer to the thing I want.
So just tell me.
And I'm like, and I was like, also, everything you've told me now, like has not done anything to pique my
No,
interest in the
no.
movie.
Is Spike a big
Um,
fan of the Mutant Horseman movie? Because I feel like she would really, 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 really yes.
um, I have not. I think I told her that she should watch it, but since she doesn't like spoilers,
Oh, you haven't told her the good part.
um, yeah, I haven't told her that it's the mutant horse thing.
Oh, she'd be super into that, I think.
Um,
Not because Spike has any, like, weird attraction to horses, but just because it's so weird and such a good
yeah,
analogy for all kinds of things. It's like, yeah, this is good,
horrible
and
capitalism.
yeah, literally dehumanize you just to
Yeah,
keep you indentured. Hey, they're trying to do it to black guys, so like there's a whole bunch of racial overtones in there
yeah,
too. Awesome, good. Hey, black dude, why don't you be the leader of these slave horses and try to keep them
yeah,
subservient?
yeah. Basically.
Let's unpack that, shall we? Okay, I think I'm almost finally done the line art on this. I'm not a fan of that bow. I might redraw the bow. Everything else is looking good.
You seen any good movies lately?
What have I seen? I haven't seen a ton of movies lately. I saw Spider-Man in the like week in between pandemics when it was actually possible to go to a theater. Or waves anyway. There was like 1 week where we went in on a Friday to this one theater we know that hardly anyone goes to on the earliest Friday showing. And sure enough, it was like a quarter full. So we didn't have anyone near us, and we double masked. Right before,
Uh,
2 days after my eye surgery, actually. So I wasn't even sure that
so
I'd be
you
able
got
to
to
see the
test
screen real
out
good.
your robo eyes.
I did. It was really nice. They're very, very good at movie theaters.
Um,
And then we watched the Spidey movie, and that was fun. And then we very shortly, a couple days after, were like, we should never see a movie in theater again because it's the numbers are going real high. And they're likely to stay high for a while. And then over the break, I mostly watched British panel shows because there's a million British panel shows I watch, and all of them have Christmas specials that are very good. Do you watch?
I am.
Have you ever heard of
I am
the
anti.
Big Fat Quiz of the Year?
I have not. I am anti-Christmas,
Yeah.
so I avoid it like the plague.
None of them were like Christmassy. They were just all like, well, we need an extra show to show at Christmas.
Okay, that's acceptable.
Yeah, the Big Fat Quiz of the Year is really funny because it's like comedians trying to answer trivia questions about news stories from the past year, and they're all very ridiculous. And Charles Dance, the guy from Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
always does a reading from some celebrity's
Did he
autobio.
read? Is this where him reading 50 Shades of Grey came
Yes, correct. This is
from? Okay,
exactly where it came
I
from.
saw that clip out of context.
Okay, good. It's very good, and he always like just leans into it. It's one of my favorite parts on there.
One of my favorite things involving 50 Shades of Grey is um,
Just how awful.
someone at it was during like an interview with David Sedaris,
Yep.
and they're like, we heard that you like to read other people's books as audiobooks, so we have something we would like you to read. They didn't tell him what he's going to be reading,
Oh,
so
good.
he read it. He read the scene where he takes her tampon out before they have sex.
Oh, God.
And what's very funny is he gets to that part, and then he stops, and he goes, "Huh, I guess you would have to take it out first." Because as a gay man, he has never had sex with a woman on her period.
Yeah, that's true. It's just one of those things where you're like, oh, I
Uh,
didn't need to know that before, and now I do, I guess.
I was like, that is a thing that had not occurred to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that is a thing that I know now.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Uh, Getting all these things straight is a pain. But yeah, I have seen Tywin Lannister read 50 Shades of Grey. That is very good.
It's very, very good.
I'm saying kinky shit repeatedly.
Yes. I've also seen Gilbert Gottfried read some 50 Shades of Grey, which is very good, but for different reasons.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I would have like, I don't know if I would be as entertained by Gilbert Gottfried reading it, but it would certainly be unique.
Mm-hmm. I think my line art is done for that one now. Do I want to do some color? I think so. I don't think I'm going to tackle that t-shirt design tonight. It's a lot.
I really like the YouTuber Folding Ideas.
Oh, yeah?
And he did a thing that was a lukewarm defense of the 50 Shades of Grey movie.
I like that it's lukewarm. It's like,
point,
look, I'm not going to try too hard
his
here.
Point being that the director did the best with what she could.
I mean, yeah.
And also was fighting with the creator the whole time.
Right.
Because all the changes that she made to make it better, like the author was like completely against.
Right. It was like, hell no.
Because it's stuff like giving Anna more agency.
Yeah.
And he points out that like there are interviews with the actors where they talk about how the director made sure everyone was comfortable during the sex scenes,
right.
And like that was the main importance. And then like he then shows interviews of all the actors when the director has been replaced with someone else who is mostly directed television.
Ooh, right.
Well, and so he says like this does not mean that they are inherently a bad director. The difference is that if you're someone who primarily directs television, you are used to following someone else's lead.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, you have to answer to a showrunner.
Yeah.
And also, the actor probably knows their character better than you do.
Right. So you kind of just let things go.
So you like let other people make certain creative decisions.
Right. You're like, I don't need to put my stamp on this. I just need to get this made.
Yeah. So it's not that he's a bad director. It's just like he's a more compliant director.
That's the style of directing he's used to.
Yeah. And then the script writer was replaced with the author's husband.
Oh, jeez. Oof.
So for the sequels, the author got what she wanted.
Right.
And the sequels suffer for it, but he shows a clip of like...
The sequels were never going to be great, though, because aren't the sequels like, and now this baby falls in love with, or this werewolf falls in love with an infant?
That's Twilight, not 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, not 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey is a billionaire.
Oh, that's right.
College student.
But it's the Twilight fan fiction that then
Yeah, it's
had
the
the
Twilight
Twilight filed
AU with
off.
no supernatural things. Yeah.
Right, 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 right.
And because vampires are the 1%, the easiest way to replicate the power dynamic of a
Correct.
vampire and a human is a billionaire and someone who's not a billionaire.
Yes, correct.
Um, but so he shows like a clip of them talking about filming sex scenes in the first one, which is them talking about the director making sure everyone's
Yeah.
comfortable. Um, and then he shows them talking about sex scenes in the later ones, and they talk about they would do shots before filming the sex
Oh
scenes.
my
And
god.
that's how they got through them. And now that he
Yikes.
has this knowledge, he then is like, I think I found a couple of scenes where the lead actress is accidentally plastered
Oh
during
no.
filming.
Oh no.
And he then shows a clip of the movie where she's like looking at a scar on the main guy's chest, and she goes, "Who did this to you?" Like super slurs her
Oh
words.
boy.
Um, but yeah, his videos are great. He did a really good one about flat Earth,
Oh yeah?
and why people believe flat Earth.
I might have seen that. I
Um,
think I saw that at my sister's house.
where he like goes to a lake where it's big enough that like he can prove like that there's a slight curve to the Earth. Um,
No, I don't think I've
because
seen that
there's no
one.
like ocean. Okay.
Because the one I've seen
Because
was
there's
like,
one that was it a blonde guy or a brunette with glasses?
he wasn't actually on screen. So the director was doing a documentary, but like was just interviewing a bunch of people, and he was never directly shown. But it was like
Okay.
a bunch of flat earthers trying to prove their point to him, and there was like a flat earth conference going on where several of the panels were just filmed and the highlights from them were shown on this documentary, and they were
Oh,
like,
so so
this is
so
crazy, go
he
nuts.
he's more getting into um why people start to believe in flat Earth,
Yeah, there was a bit of that in this
because
one
of
too.
like because it's like they understand that there's something wrong with society as a whole,
Mm,
and but like they're coming to basically the wrong conclusion.
right, yeah.
So I'll send you a link. And he does
Interesting.
all this while going, getting in a boat to go to row out to the middle of a lake in, I forget where in Canada,
Good, good,
because
good.
it's a lake
Oh, it's the biggest lake, right?
that is, yeah, it's large enough that there is a distinct horizon line, but since it's a lake and not the ocean, there aren't like ocean waves to interfere with a
Yeah.
horizon
Yeah, yeah,
line.
yeah. He's out on one of the Great
Uh,
Lakes in like just a calm day.
yeah.
Or one of the ones up in Northwest Territories. They're like super huge. I can't remember the name of the lake, but we have a
So,
lake in Canada
well,
that
he
has
says the name of, yeah.
a lake inside an island inside a lake inside an island inside a lake inside an island inside a lake.
That sounds great.
It's great. We've turduckened our lakes.
But yeah, I sent you a link on Discord too.
Cool.
In Search of Flat Earth. His newest video is about how this English chef hates chicken nuggets.
Oh, Jamie Oliver.
Yeah.
Jamie Oliver has sued McDonald's because he was contesting that chicken McNuggets are not food because they have a certain amount of things added to them. And he won, actually, in the UK, because in the UK you can bring up suits like this. And so McDonald's now has to remove a certain percentage of their filler from all chicken McNuggets in the UK for it to be considered food.
Really, he hates poor people. That's the conclusion that folding ideas comes to um, when discussing this guy's hatred of chicken nuggets.
Right, right.
Um,
Oh, Jamie Oliver.
but that video is also very good. So as you can see, what I've been doing during the pandemic is watching a lot of YouTube.
Good, 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 good. I
um,
didn't watch a lot of movies over the holiday, but let me tell you something I did do is there was a Steam sale and Cyberpunk 2027 was for real cheap. And I'd heard that it was a real trash fire when it came out, but I'd also heard that it had been modded now to be a lot better. But I am not a AAA title gamer. I love a lot of indie games. I love like Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon and Minecraft, like really slow, creative games. I like Valheim because it's got enough creativeness despite the fighting that I can power through it. But I knew that Cyberpunk was going to be a slog for me because I was like, okay, this is definitely like a Grand Theft Auto style run around and do crime and shoot things in the head, and I am very bad at those sort of games. But I'm a huge Cyberpunk fan. Like, I played the role playing game, I love Shadowrun, and I knew I was going to struggle with this game, but oh boy, did it remind me all of the things I hate about the bro culture of AAA games.
mm-hmm.
So, like, you make your character, and there's these weird sliders about how big you want your genitals or what kind you want, which is just weird on its own. Like, I'm like, at what point in the game is this going to be relevant, ever? I don't know why. I guess you want your weird cyberpunk dude to have a big dick. But then why have the small dick options?
It's also nice that you can be a lady with a big dick.
It's true, and you can. You just, because the voice slider is separate from the genital slider. So, yeah. You can be a lady with a big dick if you want. I mean, you go through the character creation process, but then like in the tutorial, as you haven't even started playing the game yet, there's a scene where you have to rescue somebody. There's a woman from a bathtub, and you're stuck in first person view, so you can't look away. And then you pick up this naked lady out of a tub, and you're trying to transport her to where the rescue crew can come and save her life, and her like boobs are just flopping in your face, and it's very male gazy and very uncomfortable, and I'm like, all of this is completely unnecessary, and I hate it, and I'm very aware of it. Thanks, AAA gamers.
YouTuber I really like,
Yep.
Sophie from Mars,
Oh.
wrote a very long video about cyberpunk.
Oh, interesting.
And how and she starts the review with telling you about cyberpunky games that are better at being cyberpunk.
Oh
than
god,
the game Cyberpunk.
all of the Shadowrun games are so good. The Telltale games, not Telltale games, Harebrained Studios, Shadowrun games, Shadowrun Dragonfall, so good, so cyberpunk.
Well, it's basically, she says, like, she goes through like, so here's a bunch of stuff that people expected of cyberpunk, whatever the numbers are after
Yeah.
it. And here's a list of games that
do that better.
All of them are not going to completely replace cyberpunk, whatever.
Yeah. But you can get bits of it.
Does a specific thing, one is where it is about you are an indigenous person in New Zealand who is supposed to take pictures of the surrounding area.
Yep.
And it's about how like Western culture is not valuing in the indigenous culture there, because the capitalist side only rewards you for like capitalist shit that you take pictures of.
Yeah.
So it's like part of the game is navigating
Cross-cultural.
all that.
That sounds cool. I would play that.
And then they bring up Disco Elysium, which is
Oh, Disco
talking
Elysium's
about
so
like,
good.
yeah, and so it's bringing up the
Like class
anti-capitalist
struggles and
messaging.
anti-capitalist
Well, and
messaging.
yeah,
Like, it's just
yeah. So
very
it's
good.
so
And
it's
the
basically
ennui of
like,
trying to live in capitalism.
yeah. So there, and then another one that they like is Cloud Punk.
Ooh, I've heard of that.
Where
I have
you
that one, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, where you're an indie, where you're a delivery person
Yeah.
in a horrible capitalist nightmare.
And you can hear
Um,
people's stories as you deliver things to
yeah,
them.
yeah. And you have a dog car.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they like go over like before they start their review, which is like, um, so play these instead.
Yep.
Because one of them is going to give you what you had hoped Cyberpunk, whatever
Yeah, at least
was.
bits of it. Yeah, my partner was asking
Yeah.
me. It was like, so you've been playing this for a couple hours now. Like, what's your thoughts on it? I'm like, it's compelling, but I couldn't tell you if I'm actually having fun. I do want to play more. I enjoy the sneaking around bits. I hate the shooting people in the head and stealing cars bits. Um, but the
Yeah,
hacking is neat.
I highly recommend Sophie from Mars's YouTube
Cool.
if you want leftist takes on video games.
Good. Excellent.
I found them because they did a
And I
bunch of
do.
videos. They did a bunch of videos about The Witcher.
Oh, good.
They compared the game to the show to the books.
Nice.
And it got me to read the books.
Nice.
And the books are horny on main.
Good. Good, good. I do want to check them out now.
It's interesting because like in the books, Geralt is like fetishized
Huh.
by ladies.
Right. Because he's so
there's
monstrous.
Yeah, so he's like a dangerous like guy who like ladies basically come up to him and are like, I always wanted to fuck a Witcher. Like
Gotcha.
they don't care about him as a person. They're
Right.
enamored with the idea.
They're monster fuckers.
And they kind of compare it to sex work.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's a thing that is necessary. Like it's a valuable service for the people in the Witcher world.
Yeah.
But because it's like associated with a thing that people don't like, he is not welcome in a lot of places.
Right.
Unless they need him. And then he has a hard time getting fairly paid.
And because his work is not valued.
Yeah.
And carries a lot of risks that don't get adequately compensated for. And also take a toll on his body.
Yes. And then the other thing about the books is they're super pro-choice.
Huh.
Like, in a way that is completely not subtle at all.
Oh, good.
Like, we interrupt this plot to talk about how a woman's right to choose is super important, and why are we even discussing it? It is so obviously what should be true.
Good.
Like,
good. I like this a lot.
But they're also, like, I think maybe, like, the horniest books I've ever read that aren't flat-out porn.
Damn.
Because it's stuff like, the first book is a collection of short stories, and said short story framing device is him getting sexed up by ladies in a temple.
All right. So this one time Geralt was getting it on, and go. Yeah. Story now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And Yasker is Dandelion in the books and in the game,
Right.
which is a real shame because if they had translated his name literally, it would have been Buttercup,
Oh, good.
and I'm just sad that he's not Buttercup.
Oh, Buttercup. I like that a lot.
Yeah. What do you want, iTunes? I don't care. Um, yeah, I'm just like, should have called him Buttercup. Guess Buttercup's not manly enough. Boys
Gender
are so
roles.
fragile.
Gotta have gender roles. Gotta have genders. What even is that? I think this feral person reads pretty well as non-binary. They're supposed to be. I wanted to keep them very, uh, very androgynous. Which is something I've not done in my characters a lot before.
I think this is readable while tiny.
I can read it and it's on my tiny, tiny phone, so checks out.
Good. Good, good, good. Um, uh, so the Witcher books I've read are the collections of the short stories.
Mm,
I'm a little apprehensive about reading the other books because that's when I get into the plot,
gotcha. You're
which
like, meh.
seems like it's going to be more serious than
Yeah.
the short stories. And the short stories, my favorite ones were the goofier they are, the more I liked them.
Yep.
Um, my favorite one is about it's the playoff Beauty and the Beast because all the short stories are playoff different fairy tales.
Cool.
So Geralt goes to he's investigating murders in a village and he finds a big manor where basically the beast is in his magic castle.
Gotcha.
Um and he's like, "Hey, so I'm investigating some murders." Um, and he's like, "Oh, so you think it was me?" And he goes, "No, you clearly are like sentient and got your shit together.
Yeah.
Um, would you like help curing whatever's going on with you curse wise?" And the beast replies with, "So it turns out a lot of ladies are into this, so I'm
Nice.
good."
Nice. Good. Good, good, good.
And now let me tell you about all the ladies that are into this.
They're both getting
And it's just like
their monster fucker fangirls.
and he talks about like the first lady that came was scared of him, so he like let her go home early, like he was supposed to keep her for a year.
Right.
But he couldn't take the way that she looked at him because she was scared of him.
Right.
But then he
Which is right
got
out of the fairy tale.
and then but then he like basically got lonely, so next time someone trespassed, he had them send their daughter, and so like this happens a couple of times, and then like the fourth or fifth girl is like, "So here's an idea. What if I ride on your back naked
Right.
and take a war horn and we run around the woods and scare the shit out of travelers?" And there is a great illustration of this exactly happening.
Oh, good. That is a night out.
Um, and then they like fuck each other sideways.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
But since fetishism and lust are not true love,
Mm-hmm.
does not cure him. But then like another girl eventually he runs into who is into it. And like this just keeps happening. And he's like, it's at the point now, but also he is sending all these girls that stay with him for a year home with like giant bags of money to be
Right.
their dowry when they
Right,
get
right.
home. So like dads keep sending their daughters to stay with him for a year because they're like, listen, this is gonna fund you marrying whoever the fuck you want.
Yup.
So just deal with
Just
it
do
for
it.
a year.
Right.
And he's like, so if a girl comes to me and is scared of me, I send her home with the money anyway. And I only have the girls that are into it stay.
Nice. Yet another beast
Um,
who's really into consent. I like this
yeah.
trend.
He also tells Geralt that he does not have chairs because he destroyed them all, showing off how powerful his jaws are to ladies.
Good. Listen, I bit through all the chairs to get some ladies hot. You're just
Yeah,
gonna have to
that's
stand.
basically it. That's exactly what he did.
Good. Good. Just stand for a bit. I'm sorry. That's just how it is in here now. I'll sit on the
Yeah.
floor.
That story is what the first episode of the new season is based on.
Nice.
And I was like, well, it was still a fun episode, but it was not nearly horny enough. But Sophie from Mars just released a bunch of videos about Resident Evil.
Ooh.
And she's dressed up as Lady D
Nice.
for the
Oh,
last
Lady
one.
D. Everybody likes a tall lady.
Tall lady.
I get a giant lady. The internet is horny for giant ladies who will step on them.
Yep.
That's a better tale.
I haven't been looking at my chat. Is anyone in the chat? No. That's okay.
A couple people stopped by mine earlier, but I think they've checked out because it's real late on the East Coast. We might want to try like an afternoon stream sometime. I don't know how
was
your
doing them for a little
afternoons
while.
are.
Last year I was doing them at noon with Joe.
Cool.
But I think it's like everyone was at work.
Oh yeah.
So like no one was really showing up to those either.
Yeah.
I just know like I have a lot of friends that like play video games on Twitch around this time.
Right, and it's good.
Yeah, and that seems to like. So I was like, nighttime seems to be
The right
when
time.
people want to Twitch.
Yeah.
I think the nose might be too big. Do you have
How's
any New
things,
Year's resolutions?
Oh God, survive this year. Try to draw a few things. I
What were you gonna say?
basically quit New Year's resolutions a couple years ago when everything went to hell. I was gonna ask how things have
Uh,
been down in the States with Omicron, because I now know like 3 different people who have got COVID over the holidays up here.
I just hide in my apartment and don't talk to anyone.
Good.
So,
That's how to do it.
um,
Like I also, with the exception of going back to Saskatchewan to see Lane's family, because we haven't seen them in a
holidays.
long time, because holidays, we were like, let's never go anywhere. Let's not.
Yeah.
It's getting real bad, and nobody's reporting their numbers well, and that makes me scared. Even though we're boosted, we're both boosted, so that's nice. But so was one of the people I know who has COVID, so that sucks.
No. Amanda is playing Mario Kart.
Nice.
Let's see. I need to look up how to spell Eisner because even though I was nominated for one, I don't know how to spell it.
Eisner.
Those letters are going in one ear and out the other.
Gotcha.
I need to see it to spell it correctly. Speaking of Eisner, Michael Eisner specifically, I read the book Disney War,
Oh yeah.
and I never thought I'd feel bad for Jeffrey Katzenberg. He's an awful, spiteful man, but Michael Eisner is worse.
Yup. Oh, God, comics. Okay. One thing I did watch over the holidays was we watched the Hawkeye TV show. Because it's Christmas themed, and we've watched all the other Marvel stuff, so it's like, okay, let's get into this. And also, so Alakwa Cox is an amazing deaf, disabled First Nations woman who just like, she's a badass, she's an athlete. And when the call went out, because they were looking for somebody to play Echo, all of her friends were like, you need to try out for this role, it'd be amazing. She's like, I'm not an actress. And they're like, no, but you're perfect for the role. You need to go and try out. So she sent in her film and like immediately got the role because she's amazing. And so I was like, God, I love her. I love the character. I love what they've done with her. She's one of the very few comic characters where it's like she's a native woman, but none of her powers are related to her being native. Like because she's part of the Daredevil universe, so it's just like she's just a lady. Mm-hmm. She's just a lady, and she's deaf, but she can kind of still get around because they overcome their disabilities in Daredevil instead of like it's anyway. That's a problem. That's a problem for a different stream.
I remember once talking to someone who was like, Daredevil is a blind superhero whose superpower is that he can see.
Yep. Yuppers. Which is a real problematic. But that aside, I was like, I really like this character. I really love what they did in the Marvel TV show. Out of morbid curiosity, I am going to go to her Wikipedia page and see what they did with this character in the comics. And oh boy, it's even worse than I thought.
Oh boy.
It's real good. So her dad, who was killed by Kingpin, I mean, kind of spoilers, but like, whatever. It's right in the character's origin. Exactly. So her dad, who was killed by Kingpin, and then Kingpin raised her, and never told her that he killed her dad, was named like Joe Crazy Horse something, okay. And they called him Crazy Horse all the time, which already is like eye roll. It's like naming a female character like Pocahontas. It's just really dumb. It's like Native people do have more names than just the one you've heard of, white guy writing this comic. But then there's a point where she's all into Matt Murdock and it's great and there's a whole romance thing and that's fun. Whatever. Good writing on that. But then and I don't know if you can hear me like rubbing my temples as I gear up for this because it's so bad. There's a point where like Matt says we can't be together and she's all tragic about it and then she goes out to on a vision quest. She goes out to find a character called the Chief first of all, which is its own problem. He's literally is a native character whose only name is the Chief. So that's great. But then he sends her out on a vision quest with Wolverine. Because Wolverine's in everything, right? And he's also kind of native adjacent, so that makes great sense. So she goes out on the vision quest and meets like native Wolverine in the spirit realm. And he teaches her how to be native well. This like white guy from Alberta.
Okay.
It's a problem. It's real bad. I'm very mad.
Sounds it, yeah.
I'm real mad at that. At just everything.
Do they talk about why Wolverines howl at the moon?
Because they thought they were wolves.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about the Wolverine origin movie.
Yes.
Is let me tell you the legend about why Wolverines howl at the moon, and it's like
they are badgers, y'all.
That's not what
a Wolverine is or does.
Excuse me,
sir. Have you seen a Wolverine? Have you seen a Wolverine?
Clearly, no one involved in Wolverine Origins knew what a Wolverine was.
No, not at all. Did you see the thing that was going around Twitter today? Where it was like Wolverine and Cyclops fighting in like a Stone Age kind of setting? Because like Wolverine's in all times.
Probably the
forever.
Savage Land.
Probably.
That's probably just the Savage Land.
Probably. And Cyclops is wearing this like lion head on top of his own head, except like, you know how he's got his sunglasses that keep him from blasting everything? His eyes are like the lion's eyes somehow. And the lion's eyes on top of his head are red, and so he doesn't blast everyone. Anyway, they figured out some way to stop his blasting ray with, like, artificial lion eyes. But that was not supposed to be in the original script at all. It was a typo. The writer had misspelled loincloth to be lioncloth. And so the artist...
That's the best typo, then.
Exactly. The artist just was like, what the fuck is a lion cloth? I guess I'll draw a lion on his head.
I feel like that's the correct decision.
Right? And then in the Twitter thread, the actual artist, or the actual writer of it was like, yeah, when I got the pages back, I was like, wow, the artist made a strong decision on this. I like it. I'm going to sign off on it. But wow, that's, I didn't expect that.
Very funny.
I'm just imagining being the artist being like, what the fuck is a lion cloth?
I try not to pay attention to big two stuff.
No, it's all dumb. It's very good for Schadenfreude though sometimes where it's just like, really?
Colored in my speech bubble. Me and Bones are gonna stream on Thursdays, video games.
Oh, cool.
Because I've been getting really into RimWorld.
I freaking love RimWorld. I've spent way too much time playing that game.
I backed the Patreon for the, Vanilla Expanded mod guys.
Nice.
They're gonna redo, did you ever play the mod where, there's, you can make mutant hybrid animals?
Yes, I did.
So obviously that mod, like, doesn't work now with the new update. But yeah, the Vanilla Expanded guys and that guy teamed up to, like, remake it from scratch.
Oh, wow.
So that way it better works with the current code and will not like
Wow.
clash with as many mods.
Okay, this is the one to clarify that there's like to get the stuff to make more mutagen, you either have to mine mutagen rocks that'll like turn you into weird shit
Oh no, that's
randomly.
the furry mod.
Oh, okay,
This is a different mod called
gotcha.
Rim Genetics,
Yes, I've played that one.
uh,
So I
where you
initially,
can make a wolf bear and a bear wolf, and they're
yes,
different, and you can make
yes.
wolf chickens.
Okay.
Uh,
I was trying to download that one, but I
yeah.
found the furry one by mistake, and I was like, oh, this is fetishy AF.
Oh yeah. I play the furry one all the time.
Oh yeah. Where it's like to get the mutagen, you have to mine this rock or turn into a cow and then milk yourself.
Or chicken prisoners.
Chicken prisoners is the
What
solution.
I what I keep doing is turning my prisoners into chicken or cow people,
Yes.
and then chopping off their legs
Oh,
so they
good.
can't break out or run away.
My cowman kept trying to
Um,
escape because he hated being a cow.
yes. So that's why you chop off his legs, and then he can't do anything.
Good. I made
um,
a camp of like Amazon warrior cannibals who would take prisoner all the men that they came across.
what I was doing is I made a team of because I also have a mod that adds pregnancy to the game, and I was finding that my characters were getting pregnant too quickly
Gotcha.
before like we've researched birth control.
Right.
Um, so to prevent that, I made like a default starting campaign that is the the I call them my science lesbians,
Good.
because basically they're all gay, so we don't have to worry about kids appearing
Yes.
until
You get
we
the
want them to appear.
they're smart science lesbians because they sit and they research all the time until you get birth control.
Well, the thing is like I have 10, and each one has a different job. So
Nice.
one is
Yeah.
just the researcher, one is the cook, one is the gardener, one is
That's how
the
to do it.
so and yeah, and it's just them committing horrific war crimes,
Good.
and I don't have to worry
Good.
about unplanned pregnancies because lesbianism is their birth control.
Good. I really like the new uh come on, brain.
The ideology
The
mod.
ideology. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah. Um the furry mod, they're about to make like an add-on mod
Oh, really?
that is like you can make a furry cult.
Where you all must be anthro animals to be
Yeah.
part of the cult. Good.
Uh, if you have the furry mod and you put in uh and you have ideology and you pick either animal primacy or nature primacy,
Mm-hmm.
one of your ritual um things that can happen, because if you successfully do a ritual, like you
Yeah,
can
you
have a
get
factionary
happiness.
likes you or whatever.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you can get as a reward for a good ritual is that they get random mutations of whatever animal they venerate.
Oh, cool.
And the vanilla expanded people made um, memes and structures expanded, so you have more types of different weird religion
Oh,
things.
good.
Leading up to one of the new ceremonies you can have is you can make your people hedonists, and one of their new celebration options is an orgy. So you can have your characters have an orgy that results in them turning into furries.
that yeah that yeah that tracks, I guess. Yep. The aristocrats.
Yeah. Right now,
Dang.
Bones and I are doing a run through where we're playing. I have the Shadow Realms mod, so it adds like elves and ithalids and
Good.
all these other different
Good.
D&D races. So you might have noticed that the stream I did on Christmas and New Year's is titled "Non-Binary Squids Take Over the Planet."
Yes.
Bones and I are playing as ithalids and trying to take over the planet.
Oh, good.
We're gonna make a people farm.
Good, good, good.
Because the ithalids only eat brains.
Right.
So we need people
To
to
eat.
supply us with brains.
Right.
And I also have a mod that lets you run a restaurant, and since we'll have all that human meat left over, I was like, we should run a restaurant where we serve human to people.
Good old Cannibal Cafe.
I mean, they're squids. It's not cannibalism.
Yeah.
We're using every part of the dead human.
Good. Good. Sustainable. And locally sourced.
Yeah.
That feels like a good sign off. It's like, good.
Yeah.
Good. Good night,
So
everybody.
I hope you all enjoyed the stream where we talked about horrific things that we did in RimWorld.
Yes.
And
also
stuff.
some of the really terrible things that they've done with some native characters in comics, which is a favorite topic of mine.
But we also talked about good books and
we did.
Weird fan theories.
Yes.
I'm almost done with my wolf.
Good. And some great takes on the whole Beauty and the Beast tropes.
Yes. So find my comics at kelmcdonald.com.
And you can find mine at weregeek.com, and then my art at alenapete.com.
All right. So thanks anyone for watching.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna post this on YouTube. So
sounds good. I will.
Later, everybody.
See y'all next week. Bye.
Okay, I'm off the air.